My name is Mira Ashford, and I'm 32. I sell luxury toilets for a living. Yes, porcelain, flush rates, rimless bowls, bidet attachments. I can talk 1.28 GPF versus zero point 0.8 eco like it's poetry. Weekdays, I stand in a chrome bright showroom convincing people a soft, close lid is worth the extra dollars. I stack chairs after events. I email quotes with tidy bullet points. I hit targets. The thing about toilets is nobody thinks about them until they have to. When they finally do, they want someone calm who knows exactly which height won't hurt their knees. In my family, I'm the calm one, the invisible cushion, always catching, never caught. Dylan, my 29-year-old brother, is the golden child in permanent beta, founder energy, and a motivational quote account that poses with leased cars. Mom posts his selfies with so proud captions. Dad nods like the sun simply did its job. Jessa, my little sister at 24, works 2 part-time jobs and still texts me home safe when it snows. She wasn't born golden, she learned to be helpful. The trigger didn't come with fireworks. It came with roast beef and paper napkins. Sunday dinner. Dylan narrating a bar investor meeting while Mom refilled his plate like he was carb loading for heroism. I mentioned I'd gotten Employee of the Quarter, plaque, modest bonus. Mom smiled at her glass. That's nice, honey. Dylan tapped his fork on the table. Sales? Easy stuff, just talk pretty. Dad cleared his throat. Your brother's under pressure. Investors take time. I reached for the salt. Mom beat me to it. Casual as weather. By the way, Dylan's card got weird charges. We're helping him sort it out, but rent is due. Family helps family. Everyone looked at me, the background character. I swallowed. How much? Just a little bridge. Mom's voice went soft. You always land on your feet. Across the table, Jessa gave the tiniest shake of her head. Let it go. I did. I chewed, smiled, stacked plates afterward, like a woman who knows where the trash bags live. Later, alone in my car, I turned the radio on to drown out my thoughts. My phone lit with a notification. 1 number. Too many zeros. My hands froze on the wheel. The showroom, the toilets, the plates I'd just stacked, all of it shifted, like the room had quietly tilted and only I noticed. 2 nights earlier, after explaining soft close hinges to a couple arguing about grout, I'd stopped at a gas station. The clerk had a stack of lottery slips. Big rollover, he yawned. I don't buy tickets. I sell toilets, not dreams. But I had 3 crumpled singles and a brain that wanted something dumb. Quick pick, I said. I tucked the ticket behind a laminated sheet of part numbers in my wallet. Saturday night in bed, I scrolled past videos of people unboxing faucets and saw the results. I read the numbers once, twice. I got up, turned on the kitchen light, and set the ticket on the counter like it might bite. $384 million. Biggest in state history. 1 winner. I did the math. Everyone does. Lump sum, federal, state. The numbers shrank and still didn't fit inside my head. I opened a cabinet and laughed at my cheap pasta. I sat on the floor with my back against the dishwasher and waited for the punchline. It didn't come. Morning came like nothing had happened. The showroom still needed me by 9, training on antimicrobial glaze. A mother who would ask if I could cover a tiny thing for Dylan. That day, an elderly couple came in asking about ADA heights. I showed them comfort height models, elongated seats, dual flush buttons. I felt weirdly proud. Dignity lives in knowing your craft, even if your craft is porcelain. I guide. I don't push. Also, I don't say no, not at work, and up until this week, not at home. I kept thinking about a list I once made of money I'd given Dylan since college. $200 until Friday. $900 for gear that came back the next day in a different color. $300 for a bridge that turned into a pier to another bridge. He paid back $80 once, then told everyone he'd covered my rent. Mom repeated it at Thanksgiving like a fun fact. With Jessa, it was different. She never asked without a screenshot. My car battery died, she'd text. Invoice already attached. I'll pay you back in 3 parts. Then she would, sometimes sliding an extra $5 into my pocket with a note. Coffee. Our parents didn't see the difference. Seeing would have meant doing something. That night, I fell down a rabbit hole of articles about winners who became saints or headlines. I read about trusts, lawyers, accountants, and, most important, anonymity in our state if I use the right structures. I wrote down blind trust, revocable, tax efficient. I booked an appointment under a boring alias. The name on the ticket was mine, but the person who claimed it didn't have to be. Monday, behind a tower of glossy brochures, I called Attorney K. We met in a small office with 2 bright lights and a thirsty fern. She listened, then said, "Anonymity is doable. We build a trust to claim, a second trust for giving. Requests go through process, not people. Hardest part? Taxes, I guessed. Saying no and wearing it," she said. "People will call you selfish. Decide now what you believe." I believed I was done paying admission to be in my own family. That evening, Mom texted a novella about Dylan's potential and how he needs a soft place to land. She ended with, "I'm putting you down for $2,500. We'll square it later. No question mark." I watched the phone buzz like a trapped fly. Tuesday, I paid cash for a flip phone and a prepaid card. On my regular phone, I typed a script. "Hey, it's me. Sorry for the number. My phone died. I'm in a bind. Can you spot me $60 until Friday? I'll pay you back the second it hits." Not a wire, not an investment, just a small ask that measures care, not clout. If they said yes, I'd accept and return it with interest. If they said no, I'd accept that too. No scenes, no lectures, data. Wednesday night, after closing, I sat on a plastic chair in the warehouse beside pallets of boxed toilets stamped fragile. It made me laugh. Everything was fragile. I breathed in cardboard, flipped open the burner, and added 3 contacts: Mom, Dylan, Jessa. I promised myself I wouldn't change the question mid-call to make it easier on them. I promised I'd listen all the way to the end. My thumb hovered over call. Somewhere inside the quiet, something small and certain clicked. Not anger, not thrill, just the sound a lock makes when it finally turns from the inside. I pressed dial. The warehouse clock ticked like a metronome for people who don't play instruments. I called Mom first. "Hello?" She sounded hurried, the way she does when she's choosing a color for her nails and pretending to choose a moral position. "Mom, it's me. Sorry for the number. My phone died. I'm in a bind. Can you spot me $60 till Friday? I'll pay you back the second it hits." A breath, sharp enough to slice. "Mira, if you budgeted like your brother used to..." "I haven't eaten today." The sentence surprised me by how small it sounded out loud. "You're being dramatic." Her voice iced over. "I'm on my way to an appointment. I can't enable bad habits. Call Dylan. He's always had a head for money." "Please." "You're 32. Take responsibility." Click. I stared at the cinder block wall until the dial tone gave up on me. The word responsible echoed in an empty space it didn't belong to. "Call 2. Dylan." Music thumped like someone punching drywall in rhythm. "Bro, sis," he corrected, laughing. "Hootis?" "It's me. Quick one. I need $60 for 2 days. I'll give you $80 back Friday." He laughed like I'd told him toilets were sentient. "You? Miss Porcelain? Hustle, Mira. Do a side gig. Sell seat warmers. Bad vibes to borrow. Besides, I'm leveraged right now. Everything's in a deal." "I'm asking you." "You always look down on me for asking. Tables turn." "I didn't look down on you, Dylan," I said. "I fed you." "Grammar police," he sang, then, almost tender in its meanness, "Loser." Click. The old cafeteria memory rose. 17-year-olds, a lunch table, me nodding yes because saying no made my throat feel like fire. "Call 3. Jessa." She picked up on the second ring. "Where are you? Are you safe? This isn't your number." "I'm okay. I mean, not really. I'm at a highway motel. Long story. I need $60 until Friday. If you can't, it's fine. I'll figure it out." She didn't pause to judge me. She took inventory. "I have $520 in my account. I'll bring cash. Text me the address." "Jess, it's 200 miles. "I'm leaving now," she said. "Eat something if you can. Lock the door. I'll stop for gas and granola bars." "You don't have to." "I know," she said. "I want to." The line went quiet like a promise that didn't need music. I placed the flip phone on the plastic chair and leaned my head back against the wall. The warehouse hummed, a soft industrial lullaby. For the first time all week, my chest stopped burning. 3.5 hours later, 3 soft knocks, our old code. I opened the door to Jessa with wind-tangled hair, eyes red, hoodie strings pulled tight. She pressed an envelope into my palm. "There's $500, she said. "I'll be okay. I brought granola bars. You're eating one now." On the edge of the bed, between motel art and an air conditioner that rattled like it had opinions, I told her the truth, not the number. I'm not broke, I said. I needed to see who would show up. Mom hung up. Dylan laughed. You drove. She sank down beside me, shoulders loosening as if she'd been bracing for a worse story. I figured, she said. I'm not surprised, I'm just sad. I'm sorry I tested you. You didn't test me, she said. You gave me a chance to be who I say I am. We sat in the kind of silence that holds rather than hurts. A freight train wailed far off like a memory leaving town. What now? She asked finally. Cash back tomorrow, I said. Then lawyers, then rules. Rules like? Like we stop paying to be loved, like no means no, not convince me, like help goes to healing, not habits. Morning made everything look smaller and saner. At 9:00 a.m., we met at the bank. I returned $500 plus gas, plus extra for an actual breakfast. She tried to push the envelope back. Non-refundable, I said, curling her fingers over it. She cried the quiet way, tears that don't ask the room to rearrange itself. At 11:30, we sat in Attorney K's office again. The fern still needed water. The light still made honesty look fluorescent. So, I said, we build two structures, one to claim anonymously, one for giving that's boring enough to survive us. Attorney K nodded. Anonymity is possible here. Trust A claims. Trust B gives, clear criteria, third-party screens, no direct request to you. All contact goes through my office. Anyone who refuses process doesn't get access. Jessa raised her hand like we were back in high school. Can we make a scholarship for kids who work and study and keep being told it's not enough? Yes, I said too quickly. Boring and strong, guardrails. Hardest part? I asked the attorney, even though I already knew. Same answer, she said gently, saying no and wearing it. We claimed quietly. The trust collected, and the press received a one-sentence statement from an anonymous local winner. In our town, rumors grow legs. Fine. Legs can run in circles until they're tired. Julian called when he got my text. Need to lay low a while. Complicated family stuff. He doesn't waste good words. Do you need me there? He asked. I need you steady. I can do steady, he said. A beat. Also, Sienna is already sniffing. She posted a vague money doesn't change character thing. I laughed once. She spells character with other people's business. I'll handle noise, he said. You handle rules. Deal. The machine flipped on anyway. Day 1. 10 missed calls from Mom. 4 from Dylan. 1 from Dad. I let them ring. Mom's voicemail. You didn't tell me because you're spiteful. Come over now. Dylan's text. Front me $5K. Fast flip. Day 2. 23 missed calls. Mom. This family runs on trust. Dylan. You owe me for believing in you when no one else did. Dad. Call your mother. I sent one text from McLean number to the family chat. I'm fine. Don't come to my apartment. Don't contact Jessa about me. All money requests must go through Attorney K. If you want to talk, it won't be about money. Mom replied in under a minute. Ungrateful. We gave you everything. I typed, deleted, then did the only new thing I fully trusted. I put the phone face down. Meanwhile, Jessa and I did useful, unflashy things. A hardware store run for a new deadbolt. A budget where living wasn't punished. Dental, new tires before they explode, and a line item called Joy with $50 for whatever felt like breathing. At the showroom, I still smiled at royal flush jokes. I still explained trapways without sighing. The difference was the rest of my life wasn't screaming. Between customers, I made my own lists for the first time. Sleep more, say no, learn eggs that don't taste like sadness. On Sunday, Jessa and I walked by the river with takeout cups, arguing about whether ducks or geese were funnier. She laughed from her stomach, an honest, unborrowed sound. My pocket buzzed. A neighbor. Is it true? I answered the way I planned to keep answering. I'm okay. Offline for a bit. As the sun slid off the water, I realized I hadn't rehearsed goodbye speeches or revenge scenes. The choice I'd made wasn't a headline, it was a system, boring, clean, repeatable. And suddenly, boring felt like the most luxurious thing I'd ever bought. By the 3rd week, the noise got creative. Mom switched from guilt to performance art. She showed up at my building carrying a casserole dish like we were in a 90s sitcom where carbs could cure boundaries. The doorman called up hesitant. She says she's your mother, and she's holding something. I went down. She stood in the lobby, smiling too widely, her tone sing-song sweet. Mira, honey, let's stop this silliness. I looked at the dish. You drove across town for food I don't eat. I knew you'd say that, she said, But I also know you didn't mean what you texted. You'd never really cut off family. Mom, I said evenly, you hung up on me when I asked for $60. I knew it was a stunt, she snapped, the veneer cracking. You were trying to manipulate me. I said I hadn't eaten. You were being dramatic, she repeated, eyes flashing. And this lottery nonsense. You think money replaces family? I think family shouldn't be transactional, I said quietly. I think saying no shouldn't sound like betrayal. Her voice sharpened, the pitch she saves for grocery store clerks and me. Your brother just needs a new start, a small investment, $50,000. It's nothing to you. It's everything to me, I said, if it keeps the old story running. Her smile vanished. You've changed. Yes, I said, finally. She shoved the dish toward me. At least take this. I didn't. The doorman did, later reporting, it's okay, but salty. That night, Dylan called from a blocked number. Congrats, big shot, he said, voice oily. Everyone knows, time to share the wealth. I'm not discussing money. If you want to talk about life, I'm here, he mocked. Spare me. After everything I did for you. You borrowed $12,140 from me over 9 years, I said calmly. You paid back $140. He snorted. You kept a spreadsheet? Psycho. I did, and here's a new rule. I'm not a lender. So this is revenge? This isn't revenge, I said, steady as breath. This is closure. You're dead to me, he spat. 2 seconds later, a text buzzed in. Okay, but serious, $20K right now, and I'll never ask again. I blocked the number. Days turned still. I learned to make eggs that didn't taste like sadness. I started running in the mornings before the showroom opened. I slept. I read essays for the scholarship fund we'd built, kids closing grocery stores at 1 a.m., opening laptops at 2, still passing classes. Stories that sounded like Jessa, like me. We sent yes. Every time a new name came in, I felt something uncoil. This was how giving was supposed to feel. Quiet, structured, clean. Then Dad texted, coffee? We met at a diner with wide windows and cheap art. Plastic syrup bottles, a waitress who called everyone sweetheart. He looked smaller than I remembered. He wrapped both hands around his mug like he needed it to steady him. I should have said more, he said, when you were kids. I let him talk. I let your mother set the weather, he admitted. Thought I was keeping peace. Really, I was keeping you quiet. I don't want to fight, I said softly. I just want a different pattern. He nodded. I'm sorry. They were small words. They mattered. He didn't ask for money. I didn't offer. We ate pancakes and talked about baseball scores. It was shockingly normal. 2 weeks later, Dylan's proposal arrived at the lawyer's office. It was formatted like a startup pitch deck. Stock charts, buzzwords, a fake market forecast. He was asking for $250,000 to fund a luxury lifestyle brand. Under team mom, operations, dad, logistics, advisor, Mira Ashford. The last slide, we are family. Attorney Kay called it impressive in its boldness. I called Jessa. We laughed until we cried, then just cried. I wrote one final email, sent through the attorney. I am not participating. Do not contact Jessa about me. If you want a relationship, it will not involve money. Otherwise, we are done. The lawyer hit send. I turned my phone face down and went for a run. The air felt clean, like it had been waiting years for me to breathe it properly. Jessa stopped by that weekend with pastries and a grin. Guess what? I got approved for the dental work. You used the fund? Yeah, I followed the process. We both laughed. That's the point, I said. The process works when you respect it. She leaned against the counter. You realize you're basically mom, except functional? Don't insult me. We laughed again. The kind of laugh that belongs only to people who've survived each other. By spring, the calls slowed to near silence. Mom's last message read, "We raised you better than this." I didn't reply. Instead, I printed 2 notes and taped them to my fridge. 1. I will not pay to be loved. 2. I will give where it heals. Below it, in Jess's handwriting, you're allowed to choose who gets to call you family. I read it every morning before leaving for the showroom. And sometimes, when the light hit the chrome just right, I caught my reflection in a glossy toilet lid and thought, you really did it. Closure doesn't sparkle. It just stops hurting. Spring melted into early summer without fanfare. No ambush calls, no sudden guilt trips disguised as recipes, just silence, the kind that didn't ask for proof of loyalty. It was strange how peace felt at first, heavy, then light, like a new sweater that needed breaking in. At work, I still sold porcelain like it mattered. People laughed, called me the toilet whisperer. I smiled because they didn't know how nice it felt to care about something simple, clean, and paid for. At home, Jessa came over every Sunday. We cooked together, Nothing fancy, just omelets and music too loud for the neighbors. She teased me about labeling the spice jars. I teased her about her sticker-covered phone. We talked about small things that didn't cost anything. That, I realized, was wealth too. Then one morning, a letter arrived. Not a text, not an email. Paper folded twice. The return address, Mom and Dad's house. I almost threw it away, but I didn't. Inside, Dad's handwriting leaned left, tired but steady. Your mother wants to believe you'll come for dinner soon. I won't pretend I didn't fail you. I kept things easy instead of honest. But I'm proud of you, even if she can't say it. The kitchen's finally paid off. We still make the roast on Sundays. You don't owe us anything. No money asked, no guilt, just words. I set it on the counter and cried. Not loud, not long, just enough. Later that evening, I texted him, pancakes this weekend, same diner. He replied with a thumbs-up emoji, progress. The following week, Jessa forwarded me a message from Dylan. Tell Mira she's a coward, hiding behind lawyers. The family's falling apart because of her. She added her own line beneath it. You know what's funny? It's quieter now. Peaceful. Maybe that's what falling apart should sound like. I laughed. Keep the message. Frame it, I told her. Why? Because it's the sound of the old story dying. Julian showed up that Friday with takeout and a mischievous grin. He'd been patient through it all. Through Sienna's rumors, through my boundaries, through months of my deliberate quiet. He handed me a small keychain shaped like a lock. Symbolic, he said. Closure. Do I get the key? You've had it the whole time. I smiled. You sure you're not auditioning for a Hallmark movie? Too tall, he said. Bad lighting. We ate pad thai on the floor, legs tangled, laughter bouncing off the quiet walls. In June, Attorney Kay emailed the quarterly report from the fund. 23 students awarded. Most of them first generation. All of them people who didn't apologize for needing help. At the bottom of her message, you've created something boring, Mira. That's why it'll last. I printed it and taped it beside my fridge list. I will not pay to be loved. I will give where it heals. Below that, Jessa had doodled a small penguin with sunglasses and wrote, financially chill. The world kept moving. Mom occasionally sent pictures of their dog wearing clothes. I responded only when the captions didn't sting. Dad sent baseball scores. Dylan sent nothing. The absence was its own answer. One night, Jessa and I sat on my porch drinking iced tea. Fireflies blinked over the grass like quiet Morse code. She asked, do you ever think about going back, like starting over? Starting over implies we did something wrong the first time, I said. I'm starting forward. She smiled. That sounds like a Mira thing to say. It's a me thing now. Months later, at the diner, Dad ordered pancakes and didn't mention money once. He asked about the bakery expansion next door to my showroom, about Julian, about how Jess is doing. Normal talk, the kind you don't realize you missed until it doesn't come with strings. Before he left, he said quietly, your mother's still stubborn, but she framed one of those scholarship articles, said she always knew you'd make something good. I smiled. She always did love taking credit. He laughed, the real kind, that she did. That night, I walked home past the same gas station where it all started. The neon Play Now sign flickered, washed out by summer air. I didn't go in. I didn't need to. I already won. Not the money, the silence that doesn't ache. Here's what peace looks like. Brownies on a Tuesday. A sister who drives home safe without asking permission. A father who learns to talk instead of manage. A boyfriend who stays steady when everything shakes. A house where my phone doesn't buzz with debts disguised as affection. I used to think closure was fireworks, something loud and cinematic. But the real thing? It's quiet, it's boring, it's freedom with good lighting. My name is Mara Ashford. I sell luxury toilets. I sleep through the night, and I don't fund disrespect, no matter how honest someone says they're being.